Henshin a go baby, what's good guys? Yoku here, and I'm addicted to Chaos Zero Nightmare, but I've seen a lot of misinformation. It's probably not misinformation, it's you know, a lack of information, if you will. But I'm gonna tell you guys about Yuki. All right, I feel like I played this character long enough. It's been about 2 weeks or so since I've really been focused with just pretty much building Yuki or trying to build Yuki. If you guys are playing the game, you kind of know what I'm talking about. RNG is a biatch, avoiding the first words at the beginning of the video. Yeah, the game is it's a lot, okay? But Yuki, let's talk about Yuki today. I don't want to waste too much of your time. Let's kind of just jump right into it and go from there. So for those that might have skipped, or you're debating on pulling this character and you keep hearing something along the lines of Yuki is just a Rin or a AoE version of Rin, you probably don't know what the general overview of the character is, or like what she does for the most part. But if you're familiar with some of the other games, or like things like Yu-Gi-Oh, for instance, like an actual card game, or Magic the Gathering, Pokemon TCG, Yuki is basically the type of character where I want to draw as many cards that is for that specific character. So in this case, think of like TCG Pocket with Pikachu, right? I want to put my Pikachu on the board, and then I want to draw as much things as possible to just keep letting my Pikachu attack as quickly as possible and pretty much overwhelm my opponent. Yuki is that type of character. She has natural cards built into her deck or built into her kit, whichever term you're more familiar with, that is going to allow her to draw her own cards and then dish out the damage. She hits everything on the board, but something that's really cool about her is she also has the ability to output a crap ton of single target damage. So let's break down this character for you guys, and I have some notes up here that I'm kind of going to go through one by one. It's a lot, so I'm trying to make this a not 40-minute video. All right, bear with me, but I'm going to start off with some of the problems that a lot of players have been expressing with this particular character. One of those things being that most of the discourse around Yuki is that she just has low damage multipliers, which I don't know her multipliers personally. The game doesn't really tell me that, but I understand to a degree. Her damage does kind of feel lacking. Now, there are some things to make up for that, and the way that I think about this is how I would think about other AoE style characters in any other RPG or turn-based game, a strategy game, if you will, right? And usually what ends up happening is a single target character is going to be that character that dishes out the most damage because they only have to focus on one target, whereas an AoE style character has to focus on all the targets, so they dish out less damage, but they hit everything on the board. So it helps you pick up the pace a little bit faster. Your goal as someone who's building the deck for Yuki or building a team for Yuki, your goal should be to build around what your Yuki lacks. And you might be asking yourself, what does that mean? If you have a Yuki that is, you know, high in attack but lacks crit rate, right, then your goal is to help her get that crit rate. That's a basic understanding of what I'm talking about. Yeah, so if your goal, or if you're fighting something and it's a single target and Yuki is clearly not a single target character, your goal is to build a team to help her deal with the single target boss. All right, cool, you got it, good. Now that we've established that, another thing is that chaos runs are hard. I'll talk about this later on in the video, but TLDR, you are not running the same team that you're running in chaos runs that you would be running in like the hyperspace or a simulation run or combat or anything like that. And I think that's something that is not talked about enough when it comes to like tier list and who's good, who's not good, what team does what. Because a lot of players are really treating this like a Honkai Star Rail, where it's like, hey, this one team is for everything. This is just like Yuki's best team. And then they'll say like Mika and Ray or something like that. And like, that's probably not Yuki's best team, but that might be Yuki's best team inside of the Chaos run, which is something that you would care about. But Chaos runs are completely different. It's a whole different topic. We'll talk about that later on as well. Last thing that I want to talk about here, which some of the misconceptions, is the lack of teammates. So these are all the characters that are currently in the game, and as of right now, everyone kind of feels like they have something that they could work with. A lot of the default options that you're seeing with Chaos Zero Nightmare is going to be characters like Kalipe, characters like Nia, characters like Mika. Beryl is getting popular now, mostly because of Yuki, like kind of shining it out and putting her on the spot. Cassius, a little bit of Ray, and then the usual combo of Tressa and Hugo. You're seeing a lot of stuff right now about Hugo being like the best DPS in the game. He's not the best DPS in the game. He's the best sub DPS in the game, and he needs somebody else to trigger that, but we'll talk about that in a bit as well. So typically speaking, if a character, which most of the standard characters do play well with all of these characters that I mentioned, right? Beryl, Mika, Cassius, Ray, even Amir to a degree, right? All of them have something that they play with that helps them. Yuki's a little different. Yuki doesn't really have her thing yet. I think Nia and Cassius and Beryl were the three characters that were featured from the actual CZN Twitter, like them showing off the team and talking about what they believe are her best teams or her best teammates. I believe it was these three characters that were shown off the most. I think Lucas was in there as well as Amir. And they're not wrong inherently, but there is a lot of nuance that goes behind that. Again, we'll talk about that towards the team section of the video. Now that I've explained pretty much all of the issues, is that all the issues? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all the issues. All right, boom. So we talked about all the issues that are happening. I also off topic or on topic, but like after the fact, I think Chizuru might be the next character. And I think she might be for Yuki. I don't fully know or anything like that. Like, I don't know any leaks or anything like that. I just have a feeling that that's what that is because of the way the story goes and like how they fight, and then whatever. I'm not going to spoil it. Anyway, let's go into Yuki herself and talk about the actual cards. These are what I would consider her important cards. I have a bunch of notes, so if you see me looking up, that's because I'm reading the notes. I already wrote them out. It makes it super easy for me to just talk about it without rambling, so you guys don't get a 40-minute video. So like just bear with me, okay? These are Yuki's cards. The starting cards are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what you're always going to start off with. 1 and 2, so long sword slash and rapid slash and flowing parry. These are your basic cards. For those that are still learning the game, the way that I was taught how to tell a basic card is if the name, the text is white, it's a basic card. If it's any different color, it is a unique card. So like blues, oranges, yellows, purples, right? Holographic, things like that. Those are going to be your unique cards. Why that's important is for your potential. So when you come over in here and you'll look at this, it says basic card upgrade. So anything that's a basic card, this is what this directly affects. And then your unique cards, this is what this directly affects. So as you can see, I'm not really using my basic card builds with Yuki right now. So my basic card is only at level 1, but my unique, you see that I'm upgrading that. I also activated the unique over here. I saved everything so I can get over here first. And now I'm going backwards to finish out all of these. 10% critical chance, max that out. And then I didn't activate my basic card efficiency because I'm just not using that yet, right? But we'll talk about that in a bit. So coming back to cards, what are you going to get rid of? Flowing shield or flowing parry. Get rid of this. You don't need this card. Everyone remove shields from their DPSs because you really don't need it. If you need an understanding or help with how the memory fragment system works and like storing data, there is a website that I use. It got changed recently. It's different now. I don't know where certain things are on the website anymore, so I don't even want to recommend it until I figure it out. But if you need it, I will link it. There's 2 different ones. I'll link them. Just ask for it. I'll put it in the comment or the pinned comment down below. If you have general questions though, feel free to ask. I'll try and answer them, or the community can answer them too. Longsword slash. I have this as an asterisk or asterisk. I don't get rid of my slash because whenever I'm running through the game, I'll show you guys real quick, right? Like when I'm running through the game, you see this 120 points. I don't have like the highest memory set, so I don't get rid of mine because it costs me more to get rid of it. It'll throw my whole deck out of whack. So I just keep longsword slash. Once you get to the higher tiers, 13, 14, whatever, you could probably get rid of longsword slash depending on what you're building, but always get rid of the flowing parry because you don't need it. Don't get rid of rapid slash. I see a lot of people, especially like week 1, so many people were telling players to get rid of rapid slash, like just delete the basics. You don't need them. This card is worthless because they're looking at the AP cost of 2. Do not do that. I'll explain why, but don't get rid of this card. It's really strong for Yuki, especially if you're looking for like extra single target damage, because this is where you're going to get that from. So what cards are we talking about here? Prepare to Subdue is going to be your best friend. All right, clone this, clone it 2 or 3 times. You really don't need that many because she has natural draw support. And again, you're building with your team, right? So you don't want to overdraw, but there's a particular thing that is very important that you understand about different cards. So before we go into that, I'm going to explain it now so that I don't have to explain it later. Read Prepare to Subdue. Draw 1 attack card of this unit, right? Okay, so that's just draw it from the draw pile. Now we're going to go and we're going to find who has it. My Mika, I think, is who has the attack card. It's my Nia, okay? And then attack, right? This is a neutral card. Choose 1 attack card from the draw pile, move it into the hand. This is important. It's important to read this text. Card games always do this. They always have some like really small definitive or like change in text that means a different thing. Messes up tons of players when you're playing like Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments or playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Little like one thing having the and not having the completely destroys like the rule set. It's stupid. But in this game, what attack does in any card that says like choose an attack or draw 1 attack card, whatever, this is just going to draw from the draw pile. That's it. And if you don't have it, you're going to get that message on your screen. It's going to say there were no cards to draw, right? I'm sure some of you guys have already seen that. That means that you pretty much wasted the card, and you need to find a way to get all the cards, basically reshuffle the deck before you can play this card. Why the Yuki card is important, and any other card that says draw 1 of their own cards, right? Why this is important is because let's say that I took all of my attack cards and I put them in the graveyard. Boom. If I play Prepare to Subdue, what's going to happen? You get a natural reshuffle. Okay, so like a localized tornado from Yu-Gi-Oh. You're going to get a natural reshuffle. It's going to take all of the cards from the graveyard, shuffle them back into your deck, reshuffle the deck, and then draw out a random attack card for you to use. That is why this card is so important, specifically for Yuki or Rin, not Prepare to Subdue, obviously, but her own version of Prepare to Subdue. Okay, and so we get into the epiphanies, right? I have it listed out for like which ones I think are in order, so you'll probably see this. I think this is going to be pretty standard. It's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, literally in order. Okay, so if you see someone say like use Prepare to Subdue parentheses 3, they're talking about this one in the middle that draws 2 attack cards but decreases the damage by 20% of the cards that you draw, right? So it's just an order. I don't really think there's any other order that people are using, but I could be wrong. So the particular order that I like the most is 4, which is this one right here, number 4, and then 2, 5, 1, and then 3. I'll explain why I like these, or I didn't click 3. This is 3, my bad. I'll explain why I like these, but I'm not gonna do this for everything because that's the 40-minute video, right? Number 4, draw 1 attack card of this unit. Just explain that. Increase the damage of that card by 20% for the 1 turn, which is important because that's the only turn you're using that card. And then if you have inspiration, you draw another attack card. The reason why I like this card so much is because not only do you get 2 attack cards and they both get the 20% damage boost, but it costs 0. So this is a 0 cost card. You draw 2 cards that you can use that are guaranteed attack cards. If they're not in your deck, you're gonna reshuffle the whole graveyard into the deck and then you pull them out anyway. So no matter what you do, she is going to draw those 2 attack cards. That is perfect for her. The second one that I like after number 4 is going to be number 2. The reason I like this one is because it increases the attack cards of all of her attack cards for that turn. So it's not just 1. When you play this card, she'll draw the attack card and then all of the attack cards that she uses on that turn are increased by 20%. So it's a smaller damage increase compared to like the one that gives you retain, but it's for all your cards, right? And as I explained earlier, she's basically an onslaught character. So whenever you're playing Yuki, a proper Yuki, the way you want to play her, it's never like Prepare to Subdue, get 1 attack card, play the attack card in my turn, right? You're not playing Yuki correctly if that's all you're doing. Your goal when playing Yuki is like Prepare to Subdue, get my attack card, aggressive mutant, get another attack card, attack, get another attack card, 0 cost, 1 cost, play, and like you've done 4 or 5 different attacks in 1 turn. That is how you properly play Yuki. Yes, it is absolutely feasible and absolutely possible to do, just depending on how you're structuring your deck and how you play the game. Number 3 is bad. Never get this card. Even though it says draw 2 attack cards, this is a last resort because you're decreasing your damage. You don't want to do that. So we just don't even look at number 3. Number 1 has retain. Retain is nice, but to be honest, and originally I had number 1 as my favorite card. I played the game a lot more. Anytime you have this card in your hand, you're playing this card. So there's almost very little reason to hold on to this card. There's like literally 1 or 2 scenarios where you're going to hold on to Prepare to Subdue. It's whenever you ran out of AP and like you play a Cassius, or you ran out of AP. Wow. You ran out of AP. You do a dice roll or dice, whatever that move is, dice attack. The 30% chance to draw triggers, and then it draws a Prepare to Subdue. That's the only time you care about having retain on it, because if you draw it randomly but you don't have the AP to play anything, then it goes in the graveyard and you pretty much just wasted it, especially if you don't have any copies of this card in hand. So that's what that is. There's also an epiphany. I'll talk about this epiphany as well. This thing is fucking nutty. Where is it at, bro? Not this one, but the morale boost is nice, but there is another one, this one right here. Okay, so the divine epiphany version of Prepare to Subdue is your best friend. Now there is another one with the draw 2, right? So draw 1 attack card and then it'll boost it by 20%. And then if you have inspiration, you draw it again, or to draw another attack card. That one also has a divine epiphany attached to it, which I do believe does still give you the +1 AP. I could be wrong on that. I don't think I've pulled it for any of my save data, so I can't show it. This is the only one that I have that's successfully saved. But my point to show you guys this is that it gives you the AP. So in a situation, and it has retain, by the way. So this is the card that I was talking about with retain, but it gives you the AP. So this is like, okay, I'm setting up the board. I know next turn I'm going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. My whole deck is going to reshuffle, like whatever the case may be. That's a situation that you're going to be using this card. The next thing here, right? The next card that we're going to talk about is going to be Trickery. I don't want to talk about Flash Slash yet. Trickery, this card is also your best friend. if you haven't noticed, everything is about drawing your own cards. Trickery Strike is easily one of my favorite cards in her deck. So the order that I like this card is going to be 1, 2, and 4. 1 being this card right here, because you get to choose the card that you want to activate for inspiration. A lot of the times when you have multiple cards in your hand that you drew naturally, it doesn't have inspiration. You might end up applying inspiration on Rapid Slash, but you really want to apply it on Iceberg Cleave, or even you want to apply it on Flash Slash, right? So being able to choose that, really good card. 2, I love this card so much, bro. I don't care that it's random. Retrieve is just, it's insane. The fact that you can hold on to this card and you can pull it back after you use it. And then there's an epiphany, there's a divine epiphany or a regular epiphany that turns this into Retrieve 2, if I'm not mistaken. So it'll come back twice. You can play this card 2 times and just keep pulling them back. What does that mean? Natural draw support. Yes, it costs 1, but we'll talk about why that doesn't matter depending on how you build your deck, right? These AP costs are not the big deal here. The last one is going to be 4. Draw 1 card that has inspiration, do damage. So pretty much the same thing that you're doing here, right? You're going to be able to activate something that's already in your hand. But let's say that you only have Trickery Strike and you don't have the other cards. This one's really good because it draws a card. So this could actually be pretty interchangeable. Depending on like if you like 1 or 2 the most, or 1 or 4 the most, whatever, right? Like you can interchange these to whatever you're comfortable with, because that's the beauty in this game. Play whatever you want, how you want. Just understand what you're doing so that you can successfully or effectively do it. This one over here is kind of worthless. Well, I won't say worthless. Nothing in her deck is worthless except the shield. I just don't really have a need for this. This is like turning Trickery Strike into another attack card for 0 cost. You already have one of those and it's your basic, right? So Longsword Slash, it's lower in damage, but it does the same thing. Activate inspiration, decrease the cost by 1. So if I was gonna do anything, I would rather have Longsword Slash, and then I would rather use the Epiphany to turn this into anything else except decreasing the cost by 1. But if you just want like a bunch of damage and it's single target, then sure, go for that one. Now we can talk about Flash Slash, which again, best friend, right? This is probably her 3rd most used attack card in the game. It can absolutely turn into a broken deck or a broken attack card in the deck. If I'm looking at this, the order is going to be 2, which is this one here. It turns it into a 0 cost. That's why I was mentioning how the AP 1 cost trickery states didn't matter, right? Like the 1 cost things don't matter, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to be playing this card. It turns Flash Slash into a 0 cost. I'm blowing up the entire board. This card is nutty. The next card that I like a lot is 5. A lot of people don't like 5 because of the high AP cost, but this is really a 2. This 3 is a 2. I don't know why they make cards like this, but it is what it is, right? So this 3 is a 2. It still costs a lot, but all the other Flash Slashes also cost 2. So if you're not getting this one that costs 0, then this one is the best case scenario. It's got the highest amount of damage across the entire board, and it's just raw damage, right? That's all that card is. I really like it. The next card that I like is this one, which is going to be 1. I like this one because it turns the 2 into a 1, so it becomes a 1 cost card, a little bit cheaper. You still get a lot of damage, almost 300% damage to all enemies on the board, right? So this is really good. And in some situations where you literally have like just 2 AP, you can just straight up play this card and like delete whatever's in front of you. You can break something and then you'll get the AP back. You can break 2 things and get 2 APs back. It's really good. 3's okay. I don't really like 3 as much because you're not lowering the cost, and this is an expensive card. I will say that, right? Just because you get the +1 hit, which is really good, you kind of already have that. So we'll talk about it right after this, but Iceberg Cleave is the same thing and you already have the 1 cost, right? So just you're turning your Flash Slash into another Iceberg Cleave. That's not the worst thing in the world, but it costs more, right? So I could either clone Iceberg Cleave 55 times, or I could turn my Flash Slash into Iceberg Cleave that costs double. Like it's double the cost. I wouldn't do that. The last one I want to talk about though is this one right here, number 4. Number 4 is how you build the single target Yuki. Yes, you can get away with this. Yes, it is really strong, especially when you combine it with the other assets in her kit. So if you're trying to build a Yuki, or you're trying to play, like for instance, some of the hyperspace bassin, the higher floors, they are single target. Build that card. Build a deck that focuses around this single target card. It has retain. Why does it have retain? Because every time you draw, it increases the damage by 60% times 3. 60, 120, 180. That's a plus 180%. That's like 600% damage, which I'm pretty sure is up there with a lot of the other single target damaging cards in the game. Really good. Next up after this though, hold on, Flash Slash, another thing, right? Crazy good shit. I didn't talk about either of these, but I'll explain my deck afterwards. This deck is fucking nutty. Regular Epiphany on the Flash Slash. There's one out there. This thing is stupid good. apply vulnerable 2 to all enemies. That means that it's going to slap 2 vulnerabilities on every single enemy on the field that gets hit with this card, right? And it lowers the cost by 1. You could also do this for the 0 cost card as well. So if you have the one that decreases the cost by 2, it turns into a 0 cost card. You can still apply 2 vulnerable. You can also apply, I think the epiphanies for it is like 2 morale, 2 fortitude, and 2 resolve or something like that. But there's like, it's like a secret one. I don't know where I got this one from, but it's 2 vulnerable, and it wasn't a divine. The divine is something else. There's a number 3 divine. Where is it at? It's so nasty. Oh, there's this one. There's this one right here. It lowers it by 2. It's a divine epiphany, but it puts 4 agony, which is the DOT, right, onto the enemy. Really good stuff. This one over here though, this 3 cost, oh my god, this is amazing. So this is what I was talking about when I said like there is one that is a single target build, or like a more high damaging build. It's 431% damage to all enemies. I still decreased the cost by 1, so it's still a 2 cost card, and I increased the damage by 30% for free. There's no inspiration attached to this card. It is just like it's a raw card. It's naturally built in inspiration. Really good card. Okay, so if you happen to get that card, fantastic. After that, we go into the last card here, the last 2 cards, which is going to be Freezing Blade. I've seen some people saying like Freezing Blade's not worth it. I don't know where that came from, but this one is my favorite. The one that's initiation. Sometimes you're not going to get it. Most of the time you will get it. Initiation means that you're going to lead with the card, so it's going to be in your hand, your first hand that you draw that turn, or in the start of the game. You're more than likely going to get the Freezing Blade. You play that, and then for the rest of the game, you're going to be able to, come on, bro, don't call me out like this. You've been playing for one, chill on me. All right. One time it said 10 hours, bro, or like 12 hours. And I was like, yeah, I got to get off the game. But okay, to be fair, I was stuck inside of like the lab 0, and I was grinding the heck out of lab 0. But anyway, this one here, 60% damage to all enemies anytime you activate inspiration, right? So the moment you use a card that has inspiration on it, you're gonna slap a random 60% damage to all enemies. It basically works like an extra attack. It costs 0. You want more 0 cost cards for your Yuki so that you don't have to use the natural 3 AP that you get, especially if you're not playing with Mika. The card after that, let me see what I wrote down here. I believe it is Freezing Blade. Yeah, 2, 1, 3, 4, 5. So 2 and then 1, which is 90%. Same thing, but it's not an initiation, and it costs 1. So when you play this card, you want it at the start of the game so you can just get it out of the way. That's why initiation, in my opinion, is so good, because it costs 0. You sacrifice 30% damage, but you play it immediately and you get it out of the way. You don't have to worry about like mid game, I pick up a Freezing Blade and like now I get to play it, right? No, this is anytime, immediate. After that, we have 3, which 3 is a single target deal, right? So it's 130% to a single target character. Pretty good. And then we have 4 and 5. I don't really see a lot of people talking about 5. I don't really use 5 a lot of the time. Most of the time, whenever I have it, like I'm gonna activate inspiration anyway. This could be good if you don't have like maybe the cloned cards, right? The ones that I was talking about earlier. Trickery State, you don't have a lot of those. You don't have a lot of the Prepare to Subdues. So maybe this could work out in your favor. And then this one here, number 4, is actually pretty good too. It increases the damage of all attack cards from this unit by 30%, but you have to, it's everything AoE, right? So if it's single target, don't even bother with this card. But other than that, like this is really good, like a natural 30% across the board. I like this a lot. I really do wish this one had a 0 cost. If this one had a 0 cost, I would more than likely pick up this one versus the 60% damage to all enemies randomly, right? Finally, we have Iceberg Cleave, this last card. This is like literally your go-to card. All right, like don't even, just straight damage, clone it. Clone it. I think I have a build with Iceberg that has like three of these or something like that. Maybe, I don't remember. Oh, there we go, 2. It's got 2 Iceberg Cleaves. All right, and I didn't even finish this build. Like this was a failed run, but you can see where I was going. All right, I wanted as many Iceberg Cleaves as possible. 1 cost, that was gonna shred through a lot of things, right? The next thing that we'll talk about, I want to go over the neutral cards that she's going to want, and the where's it at here, the forbidden cards, the new cards. So I'm sure you guys have seen a lot of this stuff right now. Not that, but these right here. Where is it at? Did I just pass it? I did not. Mutant is her favorite card, just like Rin. All right, put this card on your Yuki. Get this card, draw this card. You want this card. I have a build with like 2 or 3 of these in her deck. Pull this card, clone it, copy it, get another card, buy from the shop, whatever you got to do. You want aggressive mutant. The other one is again, did I just pass it? No, I didn't. That one, boom. Forbidden Ecstasy of Violence. The way that this works was confusing for a lot of people, and now we understand how it is. Anytime you draw, like, so you just use an ability that draws or a card that draws, you decrease the cost of this card by 1. It is permanent. So it just, the whole game, So let's say turn 1 you drew 5 cards. This goes from 9 minus 5, so now it's a 4 cost card. The second turn it goes from 4 to 3, whatever. Then you eventually draw this card and it's at whatever, you know, whatever you pulled it at, right? And you can keep lowering the cost of it in your hand. It's really good, really nutty, really good. I don't know why I said really good twice, but it is what it is. What else do I have here? Oh, some of the cards that you're gonna want are, I showed you one earlier, but it's the attack card from anywhere really, if I'm being completely honest with you, but my Nia has it, right? It's attack and it's rally and gear bag. Okay, so gear bag, you want this combos. What does that mean? Anytime you use a card, another card, it's gonna activate. You get a free draw too, right? You want to clone it though, because you see that it says exhaust. I don't fully understand how exhaust works, because it says it goes to the exhaust pile, which I would assume is kind of like the other thing from Yu-Gi-Oh, not the graveyard, but the like you're exiling the card, right? Or whatever. I feel like it's that, but it doesn't really feel like it's that, because I end up having it back in my hand anyway. I don't understand, but whatever. Attack, you want this card. This is for whenever you have, you know, you have the attack card in your hand, you can go into your deck, you choose it, clone this card, get as many as these like 2 or 3 of these as you can. Rally, same thing, get 2 or 3 of these, but you want this on your support. You see that I have these on my Nia. This is not something you're going to put on your Yuki. You don't want to do that. The next thing that I have is, oh, and then belligerence. I don't have a belligerence yet, but belligerence is somewhere in the new set. I don't remember, but you want a belligerence. All right, you definitely want a belligerence. You can slap that on your Yuki and you should be good to go. I think that's all the cards, right? We did talk about all the cards. Yes, let's go ahead and talk about partners next. Partners, really quick. Somehow this is going to be a 40-minute video anyway. Wow, that's crazy. I guess I have a lot to say about these characters, man. There's so much information that I've absorbed about this game. It's crazy. And I'm speed talking, by the way. Like, I'm trying to talk to you guys pretty fast, so that's an insane thing. Anyway, her best thing is Westmacott. It's not, there's no question. I've seen a lot of people saying like, yo, pull Lillian, just use Lillian. Like, Lillian's better because Lillian does damage, and you see that all the time. Lillian's better because Lillian does damage. Guys, Lillian does 100% extra damage. This is not a better card. It's just not. When you learn how to play Yuki and you understand what you're looking for, this card is not better. Yes, you get the damage, which is like that immediate turn. It's very nice to get this damage, but as I've shown you guys, she has an infinite amount of ways to self-boost her own damage, right? What you care about is getting that card in your hand. What's funny, draw 1 attack cards from the assigned combatant with cost of less than or equal to 0. That means the only card you're pulling is like Longsword Slash, Prepare to Subdue, Trickery State, Iceberg Cleave, or Freezing Blade. And Freezing Blade and Prepare aren't attack cards, so you're probably not going to pull those, right? So you're really only going to be pulling Trickery State, Longsword, and Iceberg Cleave, which means you will never pull Flash Slash unless you have the one that is at 0, but it's not naturally at 0. So the game's coding isn't going to read looking for the naturally at 0 card. Maybe it will but to my understanding and experience, it never does that. That's not where you're looking for, right? It's not going to reshuffle the same way you want to, but when you're playing Westmacott, why is Westmacott better? You still get the damage boost from her natural ego skill, right? But let's talk about, her additional effect. Let's talk about the ego skill. There are a lot of times where you're going to be playing the game, you're going to get a bad hand. Okay, this happens in every card game. What ends up happening in a card game, let's take Pokemon once again, right? In Pokemon, you cannot start the game unless you have a basic Pokemon card ready to play right on the field. If you don't have a basic card, you cannot play the game. So what ends up happening is you have to mulligan. Mulligan means that you take the whole hand, you put it back in the deck, you reshuffle, you draw again. And then you keep doing that until you get a basic Pokemon to play on the field. Westmacott is basically a natural mulligan, a turn 1 mulligan, okay? So if you get a bad hand and you don't like it, mulligan. However, or my bad, I'm lying to you. I'm explaining a gear set, my bad. Well, that's Fragment of the Void. So I explained that early, but what she does, same thing, bad hand, or even better, you pull your, where is it at? You pull any of these cards with inspiration, Flash Slash or Iceberg. You pull them in your hand on turn 1. You cannot activate the inspiration because there's no way to put the card back in your hand or back in your deck and then redraw it. That is where Westmacott comes into play. He takes that same card. So a lot of the times what I'll do with a combo, right? If I naturally have Iceberg in my hand and I have Prepare to Subdue, I'll play Prepare to Subdue and pull out my Flash Slash. Then I will activate Westmacott, put Iceberg back in my deck, and then let her redraw it. Because the way she works, if she put an attack card back in your deck, it's at the top of your deck. She's going to pull it back out. There's also scenarios where if you have a different card, right? I'm just gonna go to Haru because she's here. Let's just for whatever reason say you're playing Haru and Yuki, right? Boom. And you get Power Anchor, but I don't need Power Anchor. I need more Yuki card. You activate Westmacott. Power Anchor goes back into your deck, and then Westmacott is going to pull out Iceberg Cleave or Flash Slash, Rapid Slash, whatever. And it's gonna activate Inspiration. And that's gonna be more beneficial for you. So you obviously want that. Scarlet, I don't have Scarlet, but I can show you guys really quick. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think Scarlet is the best anything for Yuki. I think this card is absolutely for Rin. It just, the damage is awesome. Plus 10% assigned combatant's attack card damage amount for each turn. That's awesome too. But she doesn't really do it. Like she's not drawing anything, right? Like she's not helping you get that card out when you need it. So here we are. And then if you use anyone else's card, right? It's not even like an attack card. If you use anybody else's card, the stacks are removed. This is absolutely a Rin card. So I don't like that for Yuki at all. After that, we talk about gear. Okay, I've seen a lot of conversations going on about gear. What's the best set? What's the best set? 222s. I don't know where it came from, but I don't agree with it. I think it's bullshit. Somebody said that the 4-piece is a scam and that you should just run 222. Here's the problem with 222. Okay, guys, we're gonna go over here. We're gonna go inside of the simulation. We're gonna run to all the memory fragments. I'm gonna show you guys all the different 2-piece sets. Okay, so this is a 4-piece set, right? The Conqueror, that's a 4-piece set. Health, this is a 2-piece. Boom, so there's your 2-piece. Tetra, this is a 2-piece. That's defense. So we've talked about health and defense. 2-piece. Agony, this is a Tressa build, right? Tressa, not Haru, wow. Hugo, if you're playing him with Tressa. 2-piece, 12% attack. Blackwing, really good, really nice. Kara, increase of the 20% damage, shield, and basic cards. We already explained basic cards and unique cards. Yuki is really not using a lot of basic cards unless you're prioritizing a single target build with the Rapid Slash. And then the last one is going to be Executioner, 25% crit damage. Awesome, beautiful, you love this. So when you hear 222 and you talk about how 222 is better than the 4-piece plus the 2-piece set, you really are just making up your own 4-piece set. That's all you're doing, right? The only viable 2-piece set you're putting on your Yuki or any DPS for that matter that doesn't focus on basic attacks or benefit from defense like a Calipe or a Mirabelle or HP, right? The only ones that you're looking at is Blackwing and then Executioner, right? That's it. So you have 2 pieces and then another 2 pieces and then you have a wasted 2-piece set. It's not better. Maybe there's some secret math behind it that I'm just not aware of it looking at, but when actually playing the game and getting the value out of what you're doing, it's not better. So what's the better set? Order, Bullet of Order. They changed this, they buffed this. When she came out, they changed this. Before it was attack 5 times or max 5 times and it would stack up to like 15%, I don't know, something like that, some weird number, but you had to stack it 5 times. It was for Luke because Luke hasn't, like, if you guys play Luke, boom, 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 you just fill your hand with bullets. Bullets are free. Bang, 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 bang. And now you have a maxed out Bullet of the Order set damage bonus, which is like 30%, 40%, 50%, whatever it was. I think it was 25%, but it was a 5% bonus, right? Per stack, I think. I don't remember, but that was good for Luke. It was for Luke. No one else really benefited from the Bullet of the Order set except Luke. Now they've changed it. It's 2 costs or 2 times. I already explained to you guys how you're supposed to play Yuki. He's an onslaught character. Draw support, pull out my card, 0 cost flash slash, cloned it, 0 cost flash slash. Iceberg Cleave costs 1 cost. Longsword slash costs 0 cost. You can immediately start the game with your Bullet of the Order set maxed out. Off rip, right? 0 cost, 0 cost. Draw, 0 cost, 0 cost. Draw, 1 cost, you're done, right? Like you can keep doing this. There's no downside to this, and the uptime or the ramp up for this is not that bad. But the other set that I found myself liking a lot is going to be Conqueror's Aspect set. All right, boom. This set in particular, I think, is made for, again, the 1 cost, and it has to be 1 cost. So your Iceberg Cleaves, if you have the Flash Slash, specifically the one that decreases the cost by 1, which, let's talk about it, right? That's perfect for, what did I show you guys earlier? Yeah. It's perfect for the one that is her highest damaging Flash Slash over here, number 3, right? My bad, I lied to you. Don't even, cut that out. It's perfect for this one right here. Drops it down to the 1 cost, not the 0 cost, but the 1 cost. So you have to make sure you're gonna get the 1 cost Flash Slash when using Conqueror set. And then Trickery State, right? That's a 1 cost. Longsword is going to go to a 0, so it's not going to trigger, to my understanding. So it's really just these 3 cards, Iceberg, Trickery, and Flash Slash, that you're taking advantage of, but the Flash Slash has to be the one that drops down to the 1 cost. So it's not bad by any means, but it's not as universal, right? Bullet of the Order, everything Yuki does gets this 20% damage bonus. But in the case of Conqueror, only 3 of my cards with 1 under a certain condition will get the damage bonus from that, or the crit damage bonus actually from that set. And so now you need to play around with your stats. I'm not going to go into the stats of like what you're looking for. I just know you're looking for like close to 1000 attack naturally before you go into combat. Your crit rate as high as possible, 100% doesn't exist in the game, and then a 1-to-2 ratio, so 170, 180, 190, 200 crit damage, something like that. Another thing you want to do is you want to offset. So what does that mean? Bullet of the Order is going to give me my damage bonus, and I'm pushing for attack percent, right? Like attack 1000, whatever. So my 2-piece can either be 2%, 2-piece Blackwing, or the 2-piece Executioner, whatever you have the most substats of. So I have a lot of crit damage just rolled into crit damage a lot of the times, right? I'm still not done. You guys can kind of see the stats here. They're not great. I'm still working on that, but you can see my crit damage. I don't got no attack percent subs. I got like 1, all right, 1, maybe 2 attack percent subs, and then an attack 6. So I need more attack percent. So I'm working on getting the, where's it at? I have some in here if I can find them, but I don't have the full pieces yet. Okay, like this one right here, right? This is my Blackwing. So I have 1 piece on my Ray. I'm just holding it for now. I'm working on getting a good 2-piece Blackwing because I already have more crit damage. So I want to get more attack percent to get closer to that 1000 attack. You just offset the stat values. If you can't complete a 4-piece, then I suggest using the 2-piece set. It's not a big deal. After that, we can talk about her gear. Okay, so there's 3 gear pieces that I think are the Nightmare versions. It might just be 2. I'm pretty sure it's just 2. Okay, Fragment of the Empty Void. This is the Mulligan card, or the Mulligan gear that I was talking about earlier. You get some stuff in your hand, you can't activate Inspiration, you put it back in your deck, you redraw it, and it activates Inspiration, right? Or you have some cards that you don't want in your hand, like other combatant cards, you get rid of it and then you put it back in your hand. The other one is going to be, where is it at? Here we go, Chimera Knight. I love this thing. All right, whenever you draw, you get a natural 35% increase for the entire turn. All the attack cards you do, 35% increase in damage the whole turn. All right, it's a wonderful thing. You don't have to reactivate it. It's just once per turn. You're gonna get that out of there, right? After that though, the legendary version of this, so instead of Chimera Knight, it's gonna be Replica Core, but this is for that 1 card, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, when drawing your own attack card by an ability, that specific card gets a plus 50% damage amount for 1 turn. Every other card after that will not have that damage percent. Still good. So if you happen to get a run where you get Replica Core but you don't get Chimera Knight, that's okay. Still a great card. That 50% could, you know, like make or break you having to deal with a boss, or 1 turning a boss, 1 cycling a boss, anything like that. Really good stuff. After that, we have the dagger that tricked the shadow. Let me see if I can find that here in one of my builds. There we go, right here. The dagger that tricked the shadow, just a raw plus 12% critical damage. Really nice, nothing crazy. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. I wouldn't like stress looking for it. It's just one of those things where like you kind of get it, right? This one, I love Verdant Knight. It's really good. I believe Verdant Knight is in the swamp. On even turns, you get a plus 12% attack and plus 8% defense. It's just some random stuff that you can have. This one here is Source of the Forbidden. Specifically with the build that I'm running right now, Source of the Forbidden is really nice for her. You don't have to go for this because you can put it on your support if you want to, but it is what it is. It's nice. There's another one, this one here, Emblem of Exceptional Entity, just a raw 30% damage amount, right? Like that's it, just raw 30% damage. Really nice to have, nothing crazy. I believe the other one is a, where's it at? Superconductive something. I also like this, right? This would be perfect. Palacia's Orb would be perfect on my vulnerability set. Again, I'll talk about that at the end of the video. This one's nice too, plus 6% critical chance. I also think this is from the swamp, but it's hard, right? Getting something from swamp and from the new chaos, because it's not swamp, it's void. There is 2 gear pieces that I'm looking for. I don't know where they are though, but it's projector of something, or dopamine projector, something like that. Can I find it? I don't know where it is, but superconductive protein is another one, really good. It does exactly what it says. It just turns the 1 cost into a 0 cost, and it does it every turn. So this would basically or change 1 card to 0 cost, my bad. This would give you like that rapid slash, that's like, or not rapid, the flash slash that costs 3. If you pull that with superconductor protein, it has the chance of turning the 3 into a 0, which is amazing. You get an insane damage card for a 0 cost. It's ridiculous. Dopamine injector is the other one that I'm looking for, but I kind of can't find it. Yeah, but I'm not gonna stress about it, right? If you see it, you see it. If you don't, you don't. But it's one called dopamine injector. It looks like a gun. It's yellow. It's golden, right? It looks like this, but it's facing the other way. And again, it's a legendary item. It's yellow, but it does the same thing. Okay. Now we can talk about chaos runs, right? So let's go in here real quick. I'll set it up just so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. This is a very brief section because it really doesn't take me long to explain this. Your chaos runs are completely different. The teams are completely different than whenever you are going into anything else, right? So can I reset this? Apparently I can't reset this, but imagine Nia is just not here, okay? Anytime I go into chaos runs, I always bring Mika. If you have Kalipe, you can kind of get away with it, but I think Kalipe just doesn't fully function with Yuki. I'm not the biggest fan of it right now. Maybe somebody else is, but Mika is going to bring you, what did I write down here? She's going to bring you AP. She's going to be your heals. She is a forced draw support. So the cards in her deck aren't naturally for draw support, but you can build them. You can give her the gear bags. You can give her the rallies. You can give her the attacks, like whatever the case may be, in order to help her help Yuki, right? If you want to build her that way, you're totally able to do that. She also has the ability to work with extra gear. So the what I'm talking about is basically stuff like this, right? Start a battle, she gives you 1 evade. Sneering dagger when an enemy is defeated, 2 vulnerable to all the enemies, right? So like she's just giving you the ability to put gear on her that's going to help Yuki do more damage. She's also one of, if not the best universal unit to build in the game. That is Mika. The next one is going to be Veronica. I don't have her on this account. I have her on my alt account, but let me go over here. Veronica, boom. Notes for Veronica: free extra damage, and it's really good damage. Natural draw support. Very low committal character. She does not cost a lot. All of her cards are 1 cost or less, depending on the epiphany that you might get that could potentially turn that to a 0. She is the best sub DPS in the game right now for Yuki until I finish testing some stuff, but even then she's probably still the best. But yeah, Veronica, amazing character, right? You could also turn her into another draw support, Repose, clone Repose, and then you're going to be able to get that with the draw 2 cards from other combatants. I think there's one. Can you choose? Let me see if you can pick one of them. Okay, you can't pick it. You can't pick it, but you can force it, right? So then you can make her a force draw support as well, along with sub DPS, because she just plays herself. You really don't need any of her basics. So if you have a high tier, get rid of all 3 basics and then just fill this with draw supports, you're good to go. Nia, where's Nia? I don't know why I clicked barrel, but Nia and Cassius are pretty much the same character. Am I blind? I'm blind. Nia and Cassius basically fall under the same category, okay? Natural draw support. These are basically Cesian version of localized tornado from Yu-Gi-Oh. You take the whole deck, or you take the whole graveyard of your hand, slap it in the deck, reshuffle, pull some other cards, right? That is what this character is. It's crazy good. Pot of greeds all over the place. Really good stuff. Amazing epiphanies for both of these characters, okay? They also have the ability to be a sub healer, which is really good because Yuki has no survivability. Her survivability is killing the enemy, like eliminate the enemy. That is a survivability. So you're good to go on that. All right. After that, though, we have Barrel. Barrel is okay. The more I've played Barrel, the more I don't like Barrel. And the more that I realize Barrel is just straight up like, this is all people are looking at for Barrel is guilty pleasure. Charge shot, the retain on charge shot is nice, but here's the problem. Barrel is the opposite of what Yuki wants, right? Barrel is a retain character. I want to load up. I want to charge my charge shot as long as possible, as much as possible, and then blow something up. Whereas Yuki wants to get rid of it really fast, really quickly, and just dish out a bunch of damage. So it works. I don't want to tell you that it doesn't work. It's definitely gotten me through a lot of the chaos runs, and it carried me up to like base and 10 or whatever it was. I just don't like it. You might like it. I'm just not a fan of it. I love guilty pleasure and cloning guilty pleasure. That's amazing, right? The draw 3. But I feel like with Barrel in particular, there are just a couple other characters that you could use that are more beneficial if you happen to have them, right? Like I said, we were talking about Veronica earlier. Another character that we're going to talk about, we can kind of just jump into it because she is the next character, would be Ray. Ray was slept on for a long time. I think people are finally waking up and seeing that Ray is an amazing character. I think Ray might also be like the second best character in the game next to Mika, if you're looking at all the different value that she brings to anybody's account, and she's free. So she's going to naturally boost up all of Yuki's damage. The basic card with rapid slash or longsword slash, the 40% damage bonus. He also has a natural draw support and can be a forced draw as well. You don't need to attack with her, so you can get rid of her dark blades. You can keep the material regeneration just for like a little bit of healing if you really want to do that. But snack time also heals. You can also, I think there's an epiphany that makes it so you don't even have to get rid of a card, right? Like choose one card in your hand to exhaust. I think there's one where you don't even have to do that. Yep, there it is right there. You don't even have to worry about that. It's just like boom, heal, draw two, right? Boom, you got it and you're good to go. So like, and then that gets an epiphany as well. So you really don't have to like get rid of your cards at all if you don't want to. Really good. Choose one attack card in your hand plus 100% damage that also has epiphanies attached to it, right? It's crazy good. And then one of these are permanent. I think it's this one right here. Yeah. Choose one attack card plus 100 damage plus 100 damage percent until it's used. Really good stuff. And it'll go in your deck, right? You play that card, you go in your deck, you click it and you're good to go. This one here, choose one attack card in hand plus 50% damage amount. It's an upgrade. It's permanent. Really good. So every time you play that card, plus 50% damage. She's an amazing cheap, that's the very important part, cheap sub DPS. You don't have to worry about a lot of things. Like I said, force draw support, amazing buffer, universal, second best universal unit to build in the game. I really want to say that's all the characters that I've gone over for as far as like me testing them personally and having a lot of success. The untested characters, we'll talk about this one just briefly. Lucas, Selena, and Hugo. I lost my 50-50 for Yuki to Hugo. And then I looked more at Hugo because I was only looking at Hugo for Tressa, but I looked more at Hugo and like how he operates. Hugo also might work as a sub DPS, very cheap, low cost, very low committal. I'll test it later on. I don't have the resources to build him right now. So if anybody else wants to help your boy out and do that, that'd be awesome. But 1, 2, 3, these are going to be the go-tos that you're looking for as far as like what you're into, right? So we talked about teammates. I really want to say that's it. How I was going to do this in freaking 20 minutes, I don't know. There was so much information that I had to get out there to like really hone in on it. And we're at the final thing now where I want to tell you guys about like my best or most effective way to play with Yuki and how I've been building her, right? Finally, at the end of the video, if you skip to this part, I guess you knew everything, which is like cool. I don't know. Thank you for watching anyway, but it is what it is. There are 2 save datas that I want to talk about. One of them I don't fully have yet, but I can talk about it. I just failed to run, so my deck got all fucked up. I didn't understand how the memory system worked until after we got the calculators and stuff like that. So all of my cards got thrown around. It was random RNG. This build has been one of my favorite builds in the game. I'm trying to perfect it, so I'm going through and like looking for certain pieces. But you see that I got rid of shield. You see that I have prepare to subdue, which is going to be the one that also gives me the morale, right? Draw one attack card, increase the damage of all of those cards by 20%, which is really just one card. And then I get morale. I wanted a different prepare to subdue, preferably the one with 2 attack cards, but I just didn't get the epiphany for it. This is my favorite. It's so dumb. It's so fun. Okay. Slap vulnerable on all the enemies. It's a 1-cost card and it does 200% damage to all the enemies. I can keep playing this card. It's beautiful. I only have 1 copy of it, which is unfortunate, but here's where I make up for that, right? I only have 1 copy of Flash Slash and Iceberg Cleave. I have aggressive mutant, prepare to subdue, right? And then rapid slash. So how does this deck play? The way that this deck plays is I always have a draw. No matter what I'm doing, I always have a draw. Now, in particular, I'm playing this particular deck with Mika just so that I can keep up with the AP, right? Until we get a new AP character, Mika's kind of the only one that's able to do that right now. If I would have gotten a 0 cost on my Flash Slash with the vulnerability applied, that'd be perfect. But unfortunately, I didn't. The game plan here, it's like I said, everything draws into itself. Prepare to subdue gives me an attack card. If this gives me trickery state, I play trickery state and then I just go and get Iceberg Cleave anyway, or I get Flash Slash anyway. Ideally, prepare to subdue gives me one of those 2 attack cards, but if it doesn't, it's fine. Because I have 3 trickery strikes, I didn't purposely choose to do this. That's just what happened, right? Like I kept getting clone options for these cards in particular. Because I have 3 of these, I always get to draw. I'm always applying vulnerability to the target. And because I have certain gear, I showed you guys earlier, right? I think it was on my Mika or something like that, or my Nia, one of the 2. They have it where it's like every time you put vulnerable on the enemy, then it'll also apply it 1 weekend, right? So like I'm always debuffing the enemy. It helps me shred through everybody on the field insanely fast. I get to keep my rapid slash so I can still do some single target damage, and I have another draw support being aggressive mutant. Plus it also gives me +1 morale. So I'm boosting myself, I'm debuffing the enemy, I'm doing all kinds of draw support, Like, it's a really good deck so far. If I can find a way to perfect that, it would be phenomenal, and it would absolutely be my favorite way. And I'd probably be willing to say it's the best way to play Yuki as far as like the AoE coverage and everything in the game. Chimera Knight, I would really love a Chimera Knight, but I don't necessarily need it. Fragment of the Empty Void is okay, but Yuki doesn't need Fragment of the Empty Void, right? And that's very important. I can put Fragment on anybody on the team. So I want Chimera Knight as my nightmare item if I could put something on the character, and then someone else gets Fragment of the Void. Another one that I want to talk about though is going to be, is it this one right here? Let me see. That's the one with the 1 AP, but I don't, this one, yeah, dead thing. I didn't know what the fuck Fortitude did, so I really didn't like that. It might be this one. Nope. Where is the one? This one. This is the other one I want to talk about. The 3-cost Flash Slash that I was mentioning earlier, right? Damage across the board. If I could have cloned this and then put it in the same deck that I had before with multiple Trickery Strikes, as well as the aggressive mutants and a couple Prepare to Subdues, this would also be a really good deck. But you kind of see what I'm going with, right? The whole thing with Yuki is draw support. Natural draw support for her is her best friend. Then, excuse me, then you build Nia or Cassius to back that up. The whole way you're playing Yuki is it's always my turn. That's the easiest way to say that, because like in a turn-based game, obviously they have to take their turn, right? But in this particular case, I'm trying to one cycle the boss as efficient, as effective, as quickly as possible. My whole goal with a Yuki team is to debuff the crap out of the enemy. I don't know why I said it like that. Debuff the crap out of the enemy, buff myself up at the same time through the use of different items and gear and just natural sub effects. Draw all of the cards that I want to, play them, redraw the cards that I want to, play them again at a lower cost, and then move on to the next turn, right? When I'm playing through hyperspace, a lot of the times what I'm able to do is completely clear that first floor, because I'm able to just like immediately bum rush them. And then the second floor, it might take me 2 to 4 turns depending on what I'm fighting, right? But I love what we have going on so far. The third unit that I'm typically favored towards right now is Rei. I think the team that people are gravitating towards is Rei, Mika, and Yuki, but Mika and Rei are like the go-to for everybody at this current point in time. It is what it is. Now, eventually, when I don't need the AP or the healing, so when I perfect my deck and I get the 0-cost Flash Slash, Nia is going to be my preferred. I really didn't like Nia at first. I even made a tweet about it, and I preferred Cassius for a couple of different reasons. He has a lot of sub damage. The quest cards are really good. He has the ability to reshuffle, like the localized tornado, right? Reshuffle the hand and the graveyard back into the deck and then redraw it for free, or at a very low cost, depending on which epiphany you grab. So it feels better. It feels more effective. But after playing Nia and really just grinding her out to get a deck like this, which I'm not even satisfied. This is if you follow me on Twitter, you see my tweets about CZN, you know that I had an insane Nia deck. It was crazy run. We had like 16 cards. I clearly don't have all those cards, and I lost a lot of the cards that I had because I didn't understand the memory system at the time. So RNG kicked in and it threw away a lot of my stuff, and it put all of these back in my hand. I did not have the amp therapy or the strokes. I only had 1 amp therapy or something like that, and it put it all back in my hand. So it is what it is, right? But that's it. Hopefully that explains everything. I don't know. I know this was like super long-winded. Guys, I promise you I did not try and yap for an hour. How I did that, I don't know. But leaving off with the video, there is so much about CZN, which I think is why I'm so like addicted to the game right now. There's so much information, testing, knowledge, new things. If you're playing CZN, here's my best advice. Get a small group of friends, not a big ass Discord. Get a small group of friends that are all like just playing the game as much or even half as much as you, and just learn together. You don't need content creators. You don't need Game 8 or Pride Win. Like they're nice. I'm not saying don't support them, right? Obviously support them. I'm one. But what I'm saying is that this game is in a state where every week there is new information coming out. Someone is learning something new about a character or a different build or a secret card that no one knew existed, or a random divine epiphany that no one knew existed, and it's becoming like the new hot thing, right? Crack out on the game, learn the game, play the game. It is a phenomenal game right now, and all of this is happening in season 1. Season 2 is going to get here, or maybe season 1.5. and we're gonna get a whole new slew of things, new characters, new decks, new cards, new gear sets, new memory fragments. There's a lot that they can do to change up this game with it still just being PvE, right? Like there's no PvP in this game. It's nutty, but I'm out of here. I've already hit my hour mark. Thank you guys for hanging on me today. If you like the video, do like the video, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Depending on the support, I'll give you more CDN videos, right? But like, I've really just been enjoying this to myself, but I feel like I wanted to put this out there because I've seen so many people ask me about Yuki. And like, again, it's not misinformation that is happening with Yuki. It's a lack of information that's happening with Yuki. And to an extent, a lot of the different characters in the game just have a lack of information because everyone is like, yeah, you have a lot of time. Like you as a player and a creator, not everyone has a lot of time to just sink into the game. It's just, it's physically impossible right now. But yeah, I'm out of here. All right. Smell you later.